All right, is we live? Is we live? Are we live on both avenues? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Georgia Southern gets the victory. We finally win one. 41-34. This was actually a fairly I don't know, man. I don't even know. It was up and down. I don't know what. It was a crazy shootout. I'm pretty much all over the place when I'm thinking about this game. I don't know what to think, but I will say this. I am glad we got the win. Don't mind, my son is in the background. I'm not even doing a gaming. I do a gaming video channel, right? I do a gaming channel, and I'm not even doing the gaming channel, but he wants to show you this video game. This the other channel, but you want to show him the game? Go ahead and show everybody the video that we got. Okay, this is the NES remix for the Wii U. He participates in the sport in the video game channel, so he may think I'm doing the video game channel, but we're gonna do that video tomorrow, okay? Yeah, come on, give me up. Yeah, that's my hair. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I do that. So he always participates in the gaming side of stuff. But this is the sports channel, so we're gonna be talking about Georgia Southern winning this game 34. Let me get this. All right, that's a little bit better. Yeah, 34-41. We're gonna look at some stats. We're gonna give my thoughts and opinions on all this good stuff. And this was a much needed win. This was a much needed win. We needed this badly, and I'm glad that we were able to get it. And we're on the right track once again, even though there are some things that definitely need to be worked on. And hopefully we will get that squared away. First and foremost, the defense did look awful in the first half. They gave up 24 points. It was a lot of scoring going on. They couldn't tackle anybody. They couldn't get any stops. But one thing I will say that would jump out, I will say this. We held them to 10 points in the second half. We shut them out in the fourth quarter. So the defense did have some shining moments, all things considered. They had some shining moments, and it was good to see that the defense actually woke up a little bit. Now, Jacksonville State had some injuries. You know, hopefully those guys are okay. Look like a couple of them was serious. So I don't know how that's going to play out. But hopefully they can have a speedy recovery and everything goes good. But when it comes to Georgia Southern, J.C. French, 191 off 16 of 24. We did have, he didn't throw an interception because Dalen Cobb fumbled the ball. O.J. Arnold had 128 yards rushing. Let me put this up on the screen so we can see, so you guys can see this. I want you guys to see this. Let me pull this up. Share the screen for y'all so y'all can see it. No, I don't want to do that. There we go. Hit this. Share screen. Here we go. All right, let's see if you guys see that. Let me blow that up a little bit so you guys can see. All right, here we go. So J.C. French had 16 to 24 for 191, one touchdown. O.J. Arnold had 16 carries for 128. A lot of that came in the third and fourth quarter, especially the fourth quarter. He broke one for 40 or 50 something yards. He went all in and went berserk in the second half. Even J.C. French had a couple of good runs, had a rushing touchdown. And let's see, look at the receiving. Dalen Cobb was actually the leading receiver with 70 yards on 6 catches. Camden Brown had a touchdown. How about Camden Brown? What a good acquisition we got from him. He's been producing ever since he stepped on the field. Marcus Sanders also had 3 catches for 38. And Terrence Gibbs, 2 for 15. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't have that many carries. Matter of fact, he had no carries. That's interesting. And how about Weston Bryant? Weston Bryant sealed the deal on the game, and we end up getting a win after the 3rd and 2. He ended up getting 4. And I like what I see with that. One thing I will say about as far as Weston Bryant, we need to start using him when we're inside the 3-yard line. I don't like seeing him being used when we are 8 yards out, second and 6. Use him when we really have short yardage. But all in all, I like what I see from the offense. The offense is absolutely fine. The offense, when they're playing well, when they're on point, they're looking good. And one thing about that is we had no trick plays. No crazy trick plays. Now, we did have that one play that people could say that was somewhat of a trick play. I think it was like a misdirection handoff to Dalen Cobb or something. I can live with that because that's not one of those outlandish trick plays that we see. It's not one of those plays. So I can live with that. Let's see. Look at Jacksonville State. What did they do? Gavin Wimsatt had 16 to 24 for 178, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Cade Back, I think that's his last name. Back I think the E is silent. He threw 1 pass for 2 yards. He also had 1 good run for a while, for a good bit too. Cam Cook, 21 carries for 120. Wimsatt also had 12 for 59. He had 2 touchdowns rushing. Brock had 1 rushing touchdown as well. We gave up 214 yards on the ground. That is a lot. That is still a lot, but that's nowhere near what we've been giving up earlier, especially against Fresno State. So that is something that is a plus. But we got a lot to work on defense. We had a targeting call. Tyson had a targeting call. Ended up hurting his chances to play the rest of the game. And I don't know how the rules are now. Maybe they've changed, but I think he's going to be out for the first half of the next game as well or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how that still goes. As far as receiving go, they really didn't do much in the passing game. A lot of their stuff was like yards after catch, but we did pretty good stopping that for the most part. You only had 170 yards passing. I would take 178 yards passing all day. I would take that all day against any team, as far as us playing up against anybody. Brock Steiner had 4 catches for 69. Coombs had 6 for 58. But I will say this. If you go back and look, let me see if I can pull it back up. Might have to go back down. Hold on. Yeah, but if you look at this, the scoring. No, they don't have to. Well, if you look at the scoring up here at the top, the defense did their job in the second half. I think they did a really good job in the second half. They only gave up 10 points. And they shut them out in the fourth quarter. It really, if you're looking at the way Georgia Southern plays football, I will take that all day. As a matter of fact, if they can average 10 points, they can give up 10 points a half, I will say our chance is really good. That means the defense is holding down 20 points a game. Maybe this is a sign of things to come where they could possibly start having this type of defensive stance against other teams. I got Next Sports Media. Says good win. On to the next game. Absolutely. He also, the defense is fine. The offense is fine. Defense is iffy. Absolutely. The defense is, oh my God. We couldn't tackle for anything that first half. And we were out of place. We was all over the place. And I don't know what to think about what the defense was. But I will give the defense credit. I will give them credit. After that first drive, and they ran the ball and they got that touchdown, I think we pretty much laid it down after that. I want to say that was the case. Did the touchdown come first? I don't know. Let's see. They don't even have the scoring drives here. Yeah, I hate this. They don't have the scoring drives. But nevertheless, after they had that scoring touchdown, they had that scoring touchdown. That was pretty much a wrap. Cut it down just a little bit. But yeah, that was a wrap. I had no problem with the way the defense played in the second half. No problem. Now I will say, I don't know if it's here. I want to see if I can pull it up. Because there's somebody who needs some recognition. This kid right here. This kid here. Not you, son, not you. But this kid here, he played his ass off tonight. Yeah, I said it. I know, son. I said it. That's a bad word. But this kid right here played his ass off tonight. Shout out to him. He had 6 tackles, and every single tackle was meaningful. Yeah, he had the holding call on the punt return. Okay, I give you that. But every tackle he had was meaningful. It was either a tackle for loss or he stopped a play from going bigger than what it was. This kid, shout out to him. If you really want to be honest, he's probably the player of the game, but I know that may go to the offense because, you got O.J. Arnold playing very good. But this kid right here, he played very well. Every time you turn around, he was near the ball or he made something happen. So I definitely, and he's a freshman. He's a true freshman. Shout out to this kid. This kid gets props.
Dad, am I a professional at basketball?
Yes, you are a professional at soccer. We played soccer earlier today. He was really good. He played very well in soccer. He did very well. So we went out and he played some soccer. He a lot better than I thought he'd be, but I think he's a little better at basketball, but nevertheless. Jaquari Brown, this kid was excellent. He was absolutely excellent. I don't have much else to say about him, but he was really, really good. But with that being said, don't want to do that. Sorry, I need to get this. No, there we go. I tried to get the screen down and I'll kick myself out. But yeah. But when you're looking at what we have on this team, if this team could play any way how they played in the second half, I think we got something here. I really believe if we could play like we played in the second half, I think we got something here. Whatever they're doing in the second half, they need to go back and look at that tape, and they need to figure out how to continue to do that. The only issue I really do have is the targeting call by Tyson. Brandon Tyson had a targeting call. We need to tackle a little bit better. We don't need to be lunging with our helmets. I don't think we need to do that. But I will say, like I said, whatever they did in the second half, they need to continue that. I think they did an excellent job at keeping Jacksonville State at bay, because Jacksonville State was doing a very good job moving the ball. They were scoring. And even though we did have the lead, 24 points in the first half, you don't want to do that as a defense. But they made up for it in the second half. They got they held them to 10 points. We had an interception as well, which that was good. But they can build off of this. They can build off of this win. I really believe they could build off this win, and I think that this is something that could springboard something, because even though we won this game, it's not like it was a sloppy victory. We have to understand that Georgia Southern, they low-key slammed the door on Jacksonville State. This wasn't a hold on and hopefully that we can make it type of win. Yeah, it was ugly in the first half. I will agree. It was ugly in the first half. But I got to give credit what credit's due. If I'm going to give criticism, I got to give credit. They pretty much shut the door in the fourth quarter. Now, that third quarter was still a little bit iffy. It could have got worse. It could have got out of hand. We did get a couple of stops. It could have got out of hand. But at the same time, they found a way to say, hey, look, that's enough. The defense stepped up and they did their job. Brendan Harrington, looking at him, he did good. And Jaquari Brown, I think those guys are absolutely amazing in the second half. I really believe so. Now, there are some other guys who did really good. Devin Collier, he had a sack. Aiden Jackson had the interception. So you got some, you have something here. You got something to build on for the next week. It's not like you are sweating bullets when this game is over. Like, oh my God, I'm glad that we got through this game. It's not one of those situations. Okay, I just want to make sure my audio is good. It's not like it's one of those situations. Those guys came in and basically showed everybody in Paulson that they're better than what they are. Can they keep it up? I don't know. But I have to give them credit. The defense, the second half, preferably the fourth quarter, they did their thing. They did their thing. I think a little bit of that third quarter could have been better. These guys went down and scored that touchdown. It was looking like, oh my God, they're running on us. We can't stop them. I even said it on X. I felt like we couldn't stop them. It was getting embarrassing. I was getting tired. I was like, come on, man. We got to do something here. And they scored. And then we had the other situation where they took the lead. And then after that, I mean, wait a minute. Let's talk about them taking the lead. Fourth down, really the defense did their job. They did it. They stopped them. They went for it on fourth down. The fake field goal, we stopped them. But there was one person. One person made this play. I mean, made that drive continue, and they end up scoring. So I kind of blame the defense, but I don't. Because when you have a situation where you do your job and something still happens, that could be deflating. What's going on, Lurch? Yeah, Georgia Southern got the win. We get the W. We basically shut it down in the fourth quarter. We bend but don't break in the third. But that second half, I have no issue with the second half. The second half of Georgia Southern football was actually pretty solid. I really wish that we scored more points in the second half. Luckily, we scored, 31 in the first half. Luckily, we scored 31 in the first half. But still, I would like to see us get like at least some more points in the second, because we basically tied them in the second half. So they basically tied them. It was 10-10 in the second half. But even with all of that, the way that they closed this game, you got to understand, Georgia Southern closed this game out. And the way they closed it out, I do feel good about that. I feel good about the way they closed this game out. Let me see something really quick.
What? Take that.
Yeah, I don't know how I'll find that, but never mind. But yeah, they shut them down in the second half and the fourth quarter. I mean, I need to find a place where I can get stats by half and all this other. I'm not a stats guy, but I really could use that because I want to see how many stats they had in the fourth quarter. I don't think they did anything in the fourth quarter, to be honest. I think they did little to nothing in the fourth quarter. I don't think I'll find it here. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Yeah, I'm gonna look that up one day. But yeah, I mean they got nothing. Yeah, I'm looking at this. They got nothing. But I really want to know what they got by a quarter, because I don't think the fourth quarter they didn't do anything. All right, let me see. Let's see, 14-17. Don't they got okay, fourth quarter. Yeah, I mean their drives basically was a 3 and out. Another what? Okay. Yeah, they I'm looking at the drive. They got nothing. They had 2 drives in the fourth quarter and went nowhere. They got 2 yards on one drive. And on the second drive, they got 8 yards. They basically got beat down in the second half. 2 drives in the second half. One, I mean not the second, but in the fourth quarter, one was for 8 yards. And the second drive they had was one was for 2 yards, and the second one was for 8 yards. So they got nothing in the second half. You go into the third quarter, I'm gonna see what they got in the third quarter. Now they didn't get too much of nothing in the third quarter. I think they had like 1 touchdown. Yeah, they had 1 long drive. So it's like, yeah, exactly, first. We outscored them 10-0 in the fourth. But they got nothing. They got nothing in the fourth quarter. 2 drives was like they were dead. They were dead in the water. All right, let me pull this out. I want you guys to see this. I want you guys to see this real quick. Hold on.
Yeah.
Shout out to gseagles.com. This is in the third quarter. The third quarter, they got that 1 touchdown on 7 of 42. 7 plays, 42 yards. But before that, they had the field goal of 11 plays and 49 yards. And then after that, it was a wrap. The fourth quarter, 3 plays for 20, and the other one, 4 plays for 8. And I don't think that was 20 yards. I think that was only 2 yards. This is a typo. I'm going to blow it up so y'all can really see it. This is a typo. Because they started on the JSU 19 and they finished on the JSU 20. That's a typo. They only had 3 plays for 2 yards in the fourth quarter. In the other one, 4 plays for 8 yards. Listen, y'all can say what y'all want about the defense, but the defense did their thing. You can even look, even especially in the fourth quarter, they did their thing. If the defense could keep this up, we got something here. Now, I don't know. That's only 2 drives. And really, if you really want to take it there in the second quarter, 3 out of the 5 drives, well, 3 out of the 5 drives ended up in a punt. And another thing, for them to only have 5 drives in the second half, that's crazy. Let's look at us in the fourth quarter. We had 5 drives. Well, yeah, we had 5 drives as well. So I think the defense did their job. I really believe the defense did their job. They did what they were supposed to do. This right here, this second half, what defense did here, let me pull this up. I can live with this. If the defense can do this here on out, I can live with this. But what they did in the first half, this was abysmal. Touchdown, interception. You can't give up this many. You gave up too many points. This is too much right here. Yeah, you got the interception. That was great. Absolutely, that's awesome. But you gave up 2 touchdowns before that. At least when you played against USC, you managed to get a stop before that. Fourth quarter defense stepped it up and closed it out. Once the offense took momentum away from, yeah, exactly. And that's what you want. This right here, what happened. And you got to understand also, this was with 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's plenty of football left. So they had a chance to do something. But look at this. The drive was only 1:18. The next drive was only 2 minutes and 32 seconds. They got them off to the field quick. Both of them were 3 and outs. And even this one here in the third quarter. This is how you got to do it. So I will say this before I get out of here. Kudos to the team. They won 34-41. I think the second half was very good by the defense. We give the defense a lot of flack. But I think the defense did very well. Who's the MVP of the game? Who's my MVP? Honestly, This kid right here. He had 16 carries for 128. I think he's the MVP. But who I really think is the de facto MVP, I think OJ Arnold is the MVP, but the de facto MVP, where is he? Where is he? They don't have nothing on him? Oh, that sucks. Oh, this Jacksonville State. Okay. This kid right here. I talked about him earlier. This kid right here is probably the de facto MVP. This kid was everywhere tonight. 6 tackles. And I think 6 of his tackles was like I think 3 or 4 was for a loss, so he got to stop. This kid was everywhere. Yeah, 6 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, 2 pass breakups. He stopped a lot in this game. Now, I ain't taking nothing away from everybody else because MJ Stroud had 2 tackles for a loss, Dorian Smith, but Jakari Brown, when needed, he was there. He was absolutely there. I got Next Sports Media says this team can win the Sun Belt, just need defense to be consistent. I still think Bailey as the DC still needs to go. Yeah, I think Bailey time might be up. I'm not gonna lie. And I hate to do that like out in the open like that, but the defense, I will say this. I think the defense is gonna look good against Maine. But I think JMU, that's the game that you're going to know, like, if this defense is actually progressing based off of what we saw this game. Because I want to see them get better. If they get better in, like, let's say, for instance, when they play Maine and they only hold Maine to, like, 3 points, or if they, like, basically shut them out, then you see some progression. Then when you get to JMU, then you really got to see what this team is made of. And they got to put up a valiant defensive effort. Because you held Jacksonville State to 10 points in the second half. That needs to carry over into the next game. I would love to see this team shut out Maine. I would love to see them hold them to like 3 points. I would love to see them not give up a touchdown. That's when you know the defense is here. That is a really good call, Lurch, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. Very good call. But if they go back out here, they go out here and they give Maine, let Maine score like 17. They let Maine score 20 points. If Maine come out here and score like 3 touchdowns or something, then I like, okay, there's no progression here. And no disrespect to Maine, but I feel like Georgia Southern playing at home, they need to shut this team out. This team should not have no more than 10 points. I will give you a buffer and say 10 points. But I think this defense needs to shut Maine out and give them no more than 3, and that's when you know that defense has progressed. Then when you go play JMU, we'll see how things go from there. OJ and Cobb was cooking on offense. Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is what Lurch was saying. Shout out to Dalen Cobb, who had 199 all-purpose yards and a nice return touchdown. Now, that could be a guy that you could say MVP as well, because he did have all those all-purpose yards. The only reason why I'm giving Jakari Brown his flowers, because this kid stepped up as a redshirt freshman, and y'all got to also understand, he's playing in place of Chance Gamble when Chance Gamble wasn't even playing tonight. Chance Gamble was not playing tonight. He filled in for Chance Gamble. And I think he did a very good job. I definitely think he did a very good job. Dalen Cobb representing your hometown area, probably. That's awesome. So let's look at Dalen. Let's look at Dalen Cobb. Dalen Cobb. There he is, right there. Dalen Cobb from Washington, Georgia. This kid looked really good in high school. I remember looking at his high school film. He looked really good in high school. He played quarterback in high school. Yeah. He was public player of the year and first team all region as senior quarterback. Yeah, he played quarterback. I remember that. But I feel at the end of the day, we need to see some growth. We need to see some growth off of this. This right here. Let me see if I can get it. I can't get it, y'all. It won't let me get it. But anyway, this right here, the 0 points. We need to see some growth off this second half. Yeah, we need to see some growth. We need to see some growth. We get some growth off that second half. I think they could, honestly, I think they'll be fine. And I know people are talking about ODU. They just beat Virginia Tech, but Virginia Tech's been trash for like 4 or 5 years now. That's nothing. I think what they beat Virginia Tech last year too. So that to be honest, those guys are just sitting in the ACC. They're probably like a group of 5 team playing in the ACC. You look at everybody else in the Sun Belt. I still don't see anybody that's a runaway candidate. And maybe ODU, maybe JMU is looking solid. I still think it's open. And if you play like this, you play like how you played in the second half, I think you're going to be fine. So I don't have anything else. Anybody else got questions? If not, I'm gonna get up out of here. It is 11 o'clock. I'm gonna hang out and watch some other highlights from other games. I appreciate everybody who came through. I really appreciate it. Chris on X. I got Sports Media. Logan Lurch. Or Lurch Logan. Everybody else who's been watching on X. I got like 50 people watching on X. I really appreciate y'all. People on YouTube. If you guys on X, you don't mind coming over here to the YouTube channel and giving me a subscribe, that'd be awesome. That'd be great. But outside of that, I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back with more content throughout the week. Also on my gaming channel, I'll be doing all that great stuff. Hopefully you guys will check all that stuff out. Good night, Logan Lurch. I really appreciate you. And yeah, we'll get out of here. Check out all the links down in the description. I really appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all on the next one. All right, y'all, I'm out. Peace.